Hello and welcome to episode 66 of the Footy with Fletch podcast. I'm joined by former GWS and current Richmond AFLW player Ali Dallaway. Ali has played 42 consecutive AFLW games and kicked one AFLW goal. Hello Ali, thanks for joining me. How are you doing?
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm doing well, thank you.
And you grew up in New South Wales. What was it like to grow up in predominantly what was a rugby state?
Yeah, so grew up in New South Wales. I grew up in Castle Hill in Sydney, which is northwestern suburbs, probably like an hour out of the city. And yeah, definitely predominantly rugby league growing up. I think from a young age it was all rugby league. I played a lot of touch football and things like that. So yeah, I wasn't really introduced to AFL at probably the ages some people here would.
And you mentioned playing touch football. What were some of the other sports that you played growing up?
Yeah, I played a lot of sports. I played, I did athletics and swimming, cross country during school. But the main ones were netball and touch footy. So I would say, I'd do netball in the winter and then touch footy in the summer. So I did that consistently for quite a few years. And yeah, I was doing, academies and things like that for netball. So that was definitely my main sport.
And how were you introduced to Aussie rules?
Yeah, so it wasn't until I was in my final year of high school, actually. So I was, in year 12 and had a PE teacher who was quite into AFL. And he, showed me, showed me how to kick and kind of introduced me to the concept of the game. I was sort of at the point with netball where I was kind of wanting to, wasn't sure what I wanted to do and whether I wanted to continue playing it. So, just him introducing me to that sport. And then it just so happened as I left high school, my local team, East Coast Eagles, were starting their first ever women's team. So I just decided to go down to training and never looked back and loved it since I first went.
And how easy or hard was that decision to switch from netball to footy?
Yeah, it was quite hard. I think because I played netball, since I was 5 years old. So I think I was probably at that point where it wasn't too hard to leave the sport. I was sort of wanting a change, and having footy there was it was kind of something fresh, and allowed me to sort of use what I was learning and what had developed at netball to transfer those skills over to footy. So in terms of the skill side of it, I just had to learn how to kick, and everything else kind of felt a bit natural.
And how difficult was it to, I guess, sort of learn playing footy, given that you sort of had that rugby and netball background? Was it difficult to transition?
Yeah, it took a while for me to learn all of the rules. I think for me, when I first played, I didn't know all the rules, so I was sort of just learning as I went, and getting things explained to me as I went. I think probably the hardest thing was learning to kick. I think the general concept of the game, I understood with what I'd learnt from touch footy and netball. I was able to sort of apply that, but it was more so the skill side of things. Took me a while to learn how to kick and how to kick properly. So I think probably a couple of seasons of playing club level, I finally started to get confident with my kicking. But I think the first season I really struggled to kick on the run.
And how did you find playing with the East Coast Eagles?
I loved my time with East Coast. Yeah, I played with them for about I want to say 4 or 5 seasons. But I absolutely loved it. It's what made me love the sport so much was the environment that East Coast had. We just had a really good club culture. lots of off-field events and social things. So I was meeting lots of new people, made lots of new friends, and yeah, came across some really cool girls and some great coaches. So yeah, I love my time there, and I'll always be thankful because I don't think I would have got to the Giants without their help.
And you mentioned getting to the Giants. You missed out on the 2021 AFLW draft. How hard was that to deal with?
Yeah, it was hard. Yeah, it was obviously back then. It was quite difficult because you had to nominate for your state. So in that year, I was not obviously nominating for New South Wales, but we only had the Giants, so the Swans weren't introduced yet. So it was kind of you'd nominate for New South Wales, but you knew you kind of knew if you were getting drafted or not because Giants were the only team. So yeah, I got a call from the coach at the time, and yeah, I was very disappointed because I thought I had worked hard to get there, but that's footy sometimes. And sort of I dealt with it quite well. I would say obviously was quite upset, but yeah, I just kept at it, and I just knew that I wanted to. It kind of made me realize that I really wanted to do it. So I was like, I'm going to get it on a list next year. It's going to happen. So
And then in 2022, in the pre-season, you were signed by the Giants. Talk us through that process and how that all came about.
yeah, so it was actually during COVID, I believe. We were still sort of in lockdown in New South Wales at that point. And yeah, I was just working from home and got a call from Alan, and he said that they were offering me a contract. And yeah, I was so excited because obviously I didn't get drafted. And then there was another girl in the Giants who she fell pregnant. So she was put on the inactive list. And then they brought up a replacement player for her. And then that was who got injured. And that was how I got in. So it was sort of a couple of times where I got excited and then got disappointed again. So when he called me, I almost didn't believe him at first because it'd been a couple of times. But yeah, I was just so excited and was so grateful. Obviously, it was unfortunate circumstances for Isadora who got injured, but yeah, I was just so excited, and I was quite happy with how how I dealt with missing out on the draft. I could have easily sort of just slacked off and just kind of waited till next year or whatever. But I continued to run and keep fit, and I think that really benefited me because it was only a few weeks before the actual preseason started when I got the call up. So I was basically straight in, and was fit enough, and yeah, it was great.
And what's it been like to deal with the highs and the lows of footy? Because it can be a bit of a roller coaster at times.
Yeah, it definitely is. I think you play for those highs, but yeah, you have to experience those lows that come with it. It's a very very tough sport and very cutthroat as well. So I think just remaining positive, and I always like to think that if you work hard as hard as you can, the results will come. So I've always just tried to put as much effort as I can in, and hope that the results come from that.
And then season 6 in 2022 was your first AFLW season. How did you find your first season in the AFLW?
Yeah, it was really good. I was very grateful to have had my debut game in round one, so that was super exciting. And I think because I was a replacement player, I didn't have too many expectations for that first year. So even to play and debut that first game, I was just so grateful. And yeah, I think again, I just didn't have too many expectations on myself because it was my first year and I was a replacement player. So I think there was, probably not as much pressure as I have had as you have in other seasons. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I was super grateful to go into the midfield that year. I think I debuted on the wing, but then we had a couple of injuries, and then I ended up playing inside in the midfield from there. So I think, for my first year, I learnt so much in that year because it was, I was playing alongside some great players, and we had some really good wins, and we had some losses as well. So I think, it was a big learning year.
And what was it like to be able to play as an inside midfielder in your first season as well?
Yeah, it was great. It was awesome. I was, obviously alongside Elise Parker, so got to see her in action. And yeah, she's a really hard worker at training and in games. So yeah, I think just watching what she does was massive help for me in learning the game. I think obviously being put into the midfield, you realise how big of a step it is from club footy. So you can be as fit as you want, but once you play a game, it just feels so much harder than just running. So yeah, I think it took me a bit to get used to that sort of running side of it, and also the fast pacedness of that compared to club footy, having to execute skills under pressure and things like that. So yeah, it was a really good learning. I'm glad I did go into the midfield in my first year because I think I did learn so many things now.
And then 2022 was a bit of a weird year for the AFLW because there were two seasons in the one year. Season 6 ended in April, and then season 7 started in August. What was it like to have that quick off season and sort of a shorter pre-season to then get into a second season in the one year?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy looking back at that. I think we didn't, obviously didn't have much of an off season, but I think we did have a couple of weeks off and a bit of a break, and then we were pretty much straight back into it not long after that. But I think actually at the time the Giants were, we actually wanted to use that to our advantage. Um, we had a lot of girls. Obviously, you don't play as many games throughout the year, so it was a good opportunity to get as much footy in as you could. We obviously now get a pretty long off season in comparison, so I think it was a good chance to use that few months to really hone down on skills and just get as much footy in as possible.
Do you prefer the shorter off season or the longer off season? Because the current off season, it's fair to say, is quite long.
Yeah, it is quite long. It'd be nice if there was a happy medium, but I think how clubs are doing it now is pretty good. So obviously, it's quite a long off season, but I think the clubs are utilising that time without sort of burning the players out too much. But yeah, I do like the length of the off season because it just kind of means you get to train and sort of still have that flexibility of going away and things like that, but still being able to train wherever. So it is quite nice, but it would be nice to have more games, obviously.
And then in your second season in the competition, you played 10 games, averaged 13 disposals, 4.7 tackles, and 1.7 marks. What did you make of your second season in the competition?
Yeah, I really enjoyed that season as well. I think, we were as a club, we had a new coach coming on board, so that was quite things were fresh and exciting. We had a new coach and things like that, and it was a new game style. So it was quite fun playing that game style and trialing that out in its first year. So it's pretty cool to have been a part of that sort of shift in the Giants because obviously there was Alan was there for quite a few years. So then to have Cam come in that year, it was quite exciting. And we did have some really good games that we were happy with, but also had some, pretty tough losses that year. And there was lots of learnings that came out of that. We had quite a few new players throughout that year too. So it was really enjoyable.
And then in your final season in 2023 at the Giants, you average 12.5 disposals, 4.8 marks per game. What do you remember from that season?
Kind of similar to the previous year. Of we did have some really really good wins that we were so happy with, but then there was teams where we thought we probably should have won but didn't. So it's just a few tough games like that where we sort of felt like we could have competed with the top teams a bit more. I think that year we probably struggled to win against the top sort of 8 teams, but we'd beat sort of the bottom teams. So I think it was a big thing for us to try and crack those top teams, which it's coming
And
along.
And then in December 2023, you were traded from the Giants to Richmond. Talk me through that trade and how it came about for you.
Yeah, so obviously I was out of contract at the Giants at the end of that year, and I wasn't openly looking to leave the Giants. I was definitely keeping my options open. But when I found out that Richmond were interested, I was obviously very very open to chat and just see what they had to say. And yeah, I actually came down to Melbourne to meet with them. So I think once I came down and saw the club and met people, I was very interested and was quite happy with how Richmond saw me in their team in the future and things like that. So I think it was definitely a big footy thing and what was going to be best for my footy development. So it was obviously quite hard to come to that decision, but yeah, I think it was definitely happy with it.
And how hard was the move from New South Wales to Victoria as well, and then settling in Melbourne?
Yeah, it was hard. I think obviously it was, I've grown up in Sydney, my family's there, friends are there. So yeah, that was definitely hard. But I always knew that I was gonna be able to. It's not that far. I was only an hour away. I was going to be able to go back to Sydney to visit whenever. It wasn't like I was moving super far away. So I think for me, I knew that it was a footy decision. And yeah, I was super excited to come and play in Melbourne and just be a part of that footy culture here. I obviously had grown up in New South Wales where it wasn't that big, so I thought it was quite exciting to come and experience that. And yeah, it was a bit hard at first to sort of adjust and sort of find my people here and sort of obviously new team and you're getting to know everyone. So I think it did take a bit, but I'm super happy. Everyone was so welcoming and I'm very happy here.
And you haven't missed a game due to injury, or you haven't missed a game at all throughout your career. You've played 42 consecutive matches. What can you sort of pinpoint that to? Is there anything in particular?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Hopefully, I can get to 50 consecutive. That'd be pretty cool, but we'll see. Don't want to jinx it. I think, I've obviously been quite lucky on the injury front and haven't had any like injuries that have put me out for long periods of time. So I think, I've always been quite consistent with my training and everything I do with consistency. And I think, it's just growing up playing sport and just being consistent with everything. So yeah, a part of it I think it is probably luck, I would like to say. But I do try and do everything I can off field to keep my body right and with my training just being consistent with it. So yeah, let's hope.
Hopefully, that streak can continue. You kicked your first AFLW goal last year against Carlton at Princess Park, and then your teammates got around you. What was that moment like for you?
Yeah, that was awesome. I'll probably never forget that moment. It was funny. I was actually the day before that, I was like, I haven't practiced my set shots in a while. I should probably just do a couple. And then it turns out I had a set shot. So it was lucky I did that. But yeah, it was such a cool moment in doing it. Yeah, doing it at Icon Park too. It was a pretty cool atmosphere that night. And yeah, having the girls get around me and seeing that video after, it was pretty cool. It was a long waited moment. I'd probably missed a few chances before that in my career, but glad I did it with the Tigers. It was really really cool moment.
And then you also played in the Dreamtime in Darwin game. What was it like to play up in Darwin?
Yeah, that was an awesome experience. It's probably one of my biggest highlights of AFLW so far, I would say. It was really cool to spend some time there. We didn't just fly for the game; we flew up a couple of days earlier, so we did some school visits, which was really cool, just to see what their schools are like and sort of interact with the kids. And we got to know their culture a little bit up there, which was so cool. We had a welcome to country and everything. And we were pretty well equipped. The club did a really good job of preparing us and doing some heat training so that we sort of adjusted to the heat a bit quicker. But it was such a cool experience. And that game that we played, it was obviously it was a bittersweet game because we drew, but it was, yeah, I would say it was such an awesome environment and the crowd were great, and I would, yeah, probably never forget that because it was my first Dreamtime game, and I got to do it in Darwin, so it was, yeah, it was really cool.
And what was it like to experience a draw as well? Because after a draw, it's always a real odd feeling.
Yeah, it is a strange feeling. I think it was, yeah, just it was a bit of frustration because we felt like we definitely could have won that game. And yeah, a couple of things didn't work our way, and we kind of dropped off in the third a little bit. And yeah, I think it was more frustration, but also we were proud of ourselves for how we did handle it, and we didn't let them get us. So yeah, it was yeah, it was a bit frustrating.
And then last season, the Tigers finished seventh on the ladder, 6 wins, 4 losses, and a draw. What did you make of the 2024 season for Richmond?
Yeah, we were super happy with how things in general went that season. We obviously the year before the Tigers, they had a lot of injuries, and yeah, a few key players were out. So it was really nice to come in and have a lot of fit bodies, and have a full strength side. So yeah, I think the first half of the year we were really happy with, and we played some really good footy, and we're really consistent with our footy. I think, and yeah, I think where we probably let ourselves down was the back end of the season. I think, yeah, we sort of went away from what we knew was our best, and yeah, it's exciting to know that we can play at such a high level. It's just more about, yeah, keeping that consistency throughout the year. So that'll be a big focus this year: is how can we play our way 4 quarters and for 12 games.
And then you played Port Adelaide in the finals, losing by 24 points. What was that match like, and what were the main takeaways that you took from that game?
Yeah, that was a tough one. Obviously, playing in Adelaide is never easy with the Adelaide crowd. It was, yeah. Regardless, it was a really cool experience, and I think there was five and a half thousand there or something like that. It was, yeah, a really good turnout. So it was cool to play in that big of a crowd. But yeah, I think footy wise, it was, yeah, it was definitely disappointing, and I think we all learn a lot from that. And I think, yeah, it just seemed, yeah, a bit disappointing based on how we had played against Port Adelaide previously, and we knew that we could beat them. So yeah, to lose in the final was, yeah, quite disappointing. But I think, yeah, I think a big thing is consistency, is playing our way across the whole game, which I don't think we did. And we'll, yeah, take a lot of learnings out of that, and just, yeah, work on how can we stick to our structure and don't let external things or anything else get in the way. Is we just play our way, and that's it.
And Brendan Favola has joined Richmond's AFLW side as a specialist coach. How exciting is it to have someone like Fev on board with the Tigers AFLW program?
Yeah, it's great. He's awesome. Fev, he's a really good guy. He's very funny. He's a big character around the club. So it's been nice to have, yeah, someone with his character just come along, and just he likes to just sort of have a laugh and relaxes the energy a little bit. So yeah, he's such a lovely guy, and obviously knows a lot about footy. So it's been really good to have him around.
And what's the connection between the AFL and AFLW programs at Richmond like?
Yeah, it's come a long way, I believe, since they started, and yeah, at the moment we're quite connected, and we share a lot of the same facilities, and yeah, it's been really good to get to know them and share the same facilities, and use this time to sort of be in the gym when they're around, because I think during our season their sort of season is coming to an end, so it's been, yeah, nice to come in when they're in their season, and just being able to like have a chat with any of them when they're around and just see them. Yeah, it's been really good.
And you got to play with Elise Parker at the Giants, now Mon Conti at the Tigers. What's it been like to play with two stars of the AFLW?
Yeah, super lucky to be able to play with both of them. And yeah, Mon, she's awesome. She's such a professional, and she trains how she plays. So yeah, even just to be training with her, it's been such a big learning, and just seeing the intensity that's required to be the best. And yeah, she's an awesome player in person, and yeah, I just love how she goes about things. She's such a competitor. She's probably the most competitive person I've ever met. So you can see why she'd be such a good player. But yeah, I love training with her, and obviously she's a good friend of mine now. So
And in the off season, you went away to Mexico. What was that experience like for you?
yeah, I did. I went away for about 2.5 weeks. That was in January, I believe. Yeah, it was such a great trip. I hadn't been overseas, I don't think, for a while. So it was nice to just go overseas and go away with my school friends that I know from Sydney and grew up with. So it was awesome to just have a little break. Still trained a little bit while I was over there, but nothing strict like I am now. But I really enjoyed it, and it was beautiful weather, just lots of beach time, lots of touristy sort of activities and relaxing. It was really nice holiday.
And what does your training schedule look like at the moment? Because the preseason doesn't start until May, but what are you currently sort of doing to stay fit and keep your skills up as well?
Yeah, so obviously pre-season starts on the 12th or 11th of May, I think. So, still actually got a little while to go before that starts. But we've had a training program that's been going on for the last couple of months, and we just did a block of group training. So we did some skills with the team as voluntary sort of sessions. So put on by the coaches. So yeah, we've just done a 4 week block of that with some skills, running, 3 gym sessions a week, and then 2 skill sessions a week, and then another run. So outside of that, we also, when we're not group training, we do 2 to 3 runs a week, and 3 gym sessions a week, and then just skills where you can. So the girls have been really good with getting around the group sessions, and there's been a really good buy-in from the players, so that's exciting leading into pre-season. Hopefully we'll have our skills down pat and ready to just hit the ground running on pre-season.
And who's been the biggest mentor that you've had around the club so far?
I think I've been working quite closely with our midfield coach Sean Hampson. He's been really good. From the coaching side of things to he's really good at connecting with his players and building relationships. So it's been nice to build a good relationship with him over the past year, and work really closely with him. He's very good at identifying your strengths and showing you how you can show your strengths, but also work on your weaknesses at the same time. But he's been such a good mentor for me.
And what do you think are some of the biggest attributes of your game for someone who might not know the way you go about it?
Yeah, I'd like to think I'm more of a two-way runner. Obviously, play mostly in the midfield, but did spend some time in the forward line. But in general, as a midfielder, I'm pride myself on being a two-way runner and sort of running those defensive patterns and laying a lot of tackles. So then we can generate our attack off that. So I do love getting in and under and laying tackles and then getting the quick hands out. But I think the main part of my game is my running and my defensive running and attacking running as well.
And do you have a particular motto that you live by when you're out on the footy field?
I think what I've been trying to work on the last season is just thinking what's next. We did a lot of work with our sports psych about how you can control the controllables and staying in your what we call an A game. And big thing for me is just thinking what's next. So obviously mistakes are going to come in footy, and you're going to miss a kick, you're going to miss a handball, but just thinking what's next, what can I do next if you do make a mistake. So whether you're laying a tackle or chasing someone down or you're finding a player, it just kind of switches you out of that negative mindset that you can get in footy. If you do make a mistake, it's quite easy to sort of go down that rabbit hole of the negative thoughts. So it just kind of snaps you out of it instantly.
And what do you think have been some of the other big things that the sports psychologist at the club has sort of taught you?
Yeah, I think she's been really good at sort of, not everyone is obviously different. Everyone's going to do things differently. Everyone's mind works differently. But yeah, I think the last year I've been working on sort of my pre-game and how I can sort of calm myself and calm my nerves pre-game. And yeah, I've come to a really good pre-game routine now with my mindset, which has kind of equipped me for the game. So she's been really good at breathing exercises, doing journaling. So we did, yeah, a lot of journaling, a lot of affirmations that I am this, I am that. So yeah, she's introduced a lot of that to me, and I've sort of taken what's relevant to me and yeah, put that together. And yeah, I feel like I've come a long way with the mindset sort of side of things.
It's such an important part of footy as well. And you sort of touched on your pre-game routine. What does that look like for you?
Yeah, I'm not super strict on it in terms of the physical stuff. Obviously, want to keep my body right once we get to the ground and things like that. But I think yeah, what I do before I get to the ground is what I've been most consistent with. I like to do some breathing exercises either at my place or at the hotel. So I'll do some deep breathing and some box breathing, and then I'll do a little bit of visualization. So I'll picture myself out on the field, um, doing whatever I want to work on, doing lots of ground balls or running, breaking tackles or laying lots of tackles. I'll picture myself doing that. And yeah, just sort of doing some box breathing and some visualization. I feel like that sort of mentally prepares me. And then once I get on the bus to the field, I'm calm and I'm not too nervous. And then once I get to the ground, I'm pretty cruisy in what I do. I just sort of do whatever I feel I need to do. But yeah, as long as I've got that, I've done my mental side of things. I feel like the rest of it just comes with it.
And what are some of your interests and hobbies outside of footy?
Yeah, I love music. I love going to live music events, things like that. I do love my reading, love my TV shows. I do love going to the beach, but don't really live close to the beach here as much as I did in New South Wales. So yeah, I've sort of come away from that. But I would usually go for a beach walk or things like that. So now I just go for a walk and just get outside.
A couple of quick fire questions for you as well. What would be your favourite movie or TV show?
Or I do. My favorite movie of all time is probably Benchwarmers. It's quite an old one, but it's a classic.
Well, I've never watched it, so I probably have to at some point.
Yeah.
What would be your favourite book that you've ever read?
Favorite book. I'm really into the thrillers at the moment. So anything that's Freedom McFadden. Um, but I think The Hunger Games. I really liked that series. I need to read that again. But yeah, I think that's probably my favorite series I've ever read.
And just finally as well, is there anything that not many people know about you?
Um, Not really. I think a lot of people that I speak to, they don't realize how short I am. I think they see AFL players, people who aren't part of this sport, friends from outside of school. They think, oh, you're an AFL player, you must be really tall, and then they meet me and they're like, oh, you're not. But I think in AFL it doesn't really matter. So
Well, thanks so much, Ali, for joining me today, and all the best of luck for the upcoming pre season and the 2025 season.
thank you so much. Thank you for having me.